Hi everyone, it's Marissa from bumblebeeapothecary.com. Welcome back to my channel. Today I would like to go over some soap making basics and safety tips. So if you would like to learn how to make soap from scratch, this is the video for you. For those of you who have been with me for a while, I wanted to show you our new baby. In my last video, I was still pregnant with him, and he is 7 weeks old now. And if you're wondering how that works, I just batched and worked ahead so that I was able to take a break for a while after he was born, which worked very nicely. But we are so happy that he's here. He's such a happy, content baby, and we are really loving him. So for those of you who knew that we were expecting him, I just wanted to let you guys see him for a little bit. But yeah, now we're back to our regular schedule of filming lots more videos for you guys. Alright, so while I am making this video, I'm actually going to go through making a batch of soap. And I have several different soap recipes as well as a shampoo bar recipe. You can find all of those videos on my channel, and I'll put links to them below so you can find them easily. I also have all the written recipes and printable recipe cards on my blog, bumblebeeapothecary.com, and I'll have a link to that below as well. But whichever of those recipes you choose to make, the process is completely the same. And so I'm going to go through a process. These are actually going to be shampoo bars, but like I said, whatever of those recipes you choose, or if you design your own that is similar, it'll be the same as this process. So let's just kind of jump into the soap making process. So soap recipes are always measured by weight, and so you'll want to have a nice sensitive scale that can read up to 2 decimal places. So I found this one that does just that. It was pretty inexpensive and it works great. I'll put a link below to this scale and all the equipment that I use so that you can find those easily. But a scale that is sensitive enough is very important so that you can measure your ingredients accurately so that your recipe will turn out good. Because nothing is more disappointing than going through the trouble of making a nice batch of soap from scratch and then having something go wrong where you can't use it or it's just not what you wanted it to be. So scale, very important. So using that scale, you'll want to weigh out all of your ingredients. I like using things like organic coconut oil, olive oil, and especially grass-fed tallow because of its wonderful benefits. So these are my tallow shampoo bars here, and they're going to have a lovely peppermint scent to them. So I have my coconut oil, olive oil, tallow, and castor oil all melted in my crock pot here. And the next step is to make sure that they're the right temperature. I have this little stick thermometer, and you go ahead and put that in, and you make sure that they are around 100 degrees. That is a good place for them to be to mix in the next step, which is going to be our lye water. Now when you're working with lye, you want to be very, very careful. You want to wear eye protection, gloves, and you want to have some white vinegar on hand in case you were to get some lye onto your skin. Then you can quickly neutralize it with some vinegar. Since the lye is very alkaline, it can burn your skin. So following those safety precautions is really important. And it's also very important when you're mixing up the lye water to go outside so that you don't breathe the fumes. It puts off some fumes while you're mixing it. Now, a question that I get asked a lot about soap making is, if you're handling this dangerous substance like lye, doesn't that mean this isn't a very natural thing to be making and it's not a natural thing to be using, and it doesn't make sense. But the thing is, when the soap process is actually complete, then there's no lye left in the bar of soap. The lye converts the oils into soap, and once it's done doing that, it's gone. There isn't any lye left as long as the bars are cured properly. So you don't have to worry about that. You just have to follow the safety precautions while you're actually making the soap so that you don't get burned by the lye. But yeah, it's perfectly natural. You don't have to worry about anything unnatural or unsafe in the finished bars of soap. So let's go ahead and head on outside, and I'm going to mix up the lye water next. So when you're working with lye, you want to be very, very careful. You want to make sure that kids and pets are nowhere around. You want to be wearing your safety gear, your gloves, your eye protection, And then the order that you pour the lye into the water is really, really important. You want to pour the lye into the water, like I just said, and you can remember that easily by the snow falls on the lake. And if you were to go the other way around, the water into the lye, it would create an explosion, which would be very dangerous. So just remember the order: lye into water, and then you just mix it very gently and slowly, staying back so that there aren't any fumes getting near you. You'll notice that the lye gets very hot, so you just mix it gently until all the lye is dissolved, and then let it sit for 10 minutes, and after that it'll be ready for our next step. Okay, now we're ready for our next step where we add our lye water into our oils. So again, since we're working with lye, we have our safety gear on, gloves, eye protection. I have these snazzy orange ones, but they work. So let's go ahead and do that. So we're just going to take our lye water, it's still pretty hot, and very carefully and gently pour it into our melted oils. The next thing that we're going to be doing is blending this. An immersion blender is the best thing to use because it works the most quickly, so that's what I'm going to be using. You can also mix by hand, but that takes a very long time, so I definitely recommend the immersion blender. And what we're going to be doing at this point is something called bringing the mixture to trace, and that's just combining the lye water with the oils until it's like a thick, light pudding consistency. So you'll be able to see the marks as you draw the immersion blender across the top of the surface when it is at that point, and I'll show you that when we get there. Okay, so now it has reached trace. So this is what it looks like when it's reached trace, that light, thick pudding consistency where you can see some of the soap mixture on itself as you draw the mixing utensil across it. So now we're ready to add our essential oils. For these shampoo bars, like I said, I'm going to be adding peppermint essential oil. So I'm going to go ahead and add that. And then once those are added, we're just going to blend again to incorporate those essential oils. Okay, those are thoroughly mixed in now. And next we're going to pour the soap mixture into our molds. So remember at this point that we're still working with the soap mixture with unconverted lye in it. So it still has the potential to burn skin. So you just want to keep on remembering all of the safety precautions and don't get it on your skin. So I have my molds here, and all of my equipment that I use, I'm going to be putting links in the description box below where you can find those easily. These molds that I use, the immersion blender, the scale, everything. So now we just go ahead and pour into our molds. Use a spatula to smooth them out. It's a good idea also to kind of tap them to make sure there aren't any air pockets because the mixture is pretty thick at this point, and if you don't get the air pockets out, they can solidify with air in them, and then that just leaves a little gap in the bar, which is not the biggest deal, but if there's something easy you can do to prevent it, you might as well. The next thing that we're going to do is to put wax paper on top of the soap while it's in the molds. So just put a big piece across those, and then I'm just going to cover all of these with another towel. That helps the mixture to cool slowly. And then we're gonna let these soap bars sit and continue to solidify for 24 hours. So you just want to pay attention to the time that you put them in, and then 24 hours later we're going to take them out of the molds and slice them. It's important when you're using recipes that contain tallow to not wait too long to slice bars, because The tallow makes the soap bars very hard and it can be difficult to slice them if you wait longer than 24 hours. So we're gonna let these set and then we'll slice them when they're ready. Okay, so it has now been 24 hours since we poured the soap mixture into the mold, so it's time to take the soap out of the molds and slice it into bars. At this point, I find that it's fine to handle the soap without gloves because enough of the lye has been converted that it's not going to harm you. So then we just begin to slice. I always cut off the ends of the bars first because I'm using this slicer that has the little ridges in it, which I think gives a really nice texture on the bars, and I want them all to have that. So I do the ends first and then just cut the loaf in half, in quarters, and then in each of those into half so that you end up with 8 bars altogether for each loaf. And there it is. You see it's a nice sized bar that you end up with. So after all the soap bars are sliced, we just need to let them cure, and to do that you just put them in an area where they can sit undisturbed, make sure there's airflow around all the bars, and let them sit for 4 to 6 weeks, and after that time they'll be ready to use. If you use them too soon, there could still be some unconverted lye in the bars that could burn or at least irritate skin. So you don't want to use them too soon, and they're also, you'll notice, pretty soft at this point, and they'll harden quite a bit and be a lot harder once the curing process is done. So that is the whole process for making soap from scratch. I hope that you enjoyed seeing that, and I hope that you give it a try and try making your own soap from scratch. I have a bunch of different recipes on my blog. I'm going to put links to those, and I also have video tutorials for all of them on my channel. So you can try any of those recipes. You'll notice that I really like grass-fed tallow, so I have that in all of my recipes. I have a pure tallow soap recipe. I have another one where tallow is combined with coconut oil and olive oil, and then this shampoo bar recipe as well. Feel free to come up with your own recipes. There's a website called soapcalc.net, and I will put a link to that below. And there is what's called a soap calculator where you can put in the ingredients that you want to use. You can read about the different properties of the different ingredients. You can play around with it and design your own recipe that has the properties that you want using the ingredients that you want. It's really fun. That's what I used to design my recipes. And like I mentioned before, I'm going to have links below to all of the equipment that I use, as well as easy sources for ingredients too, so that you can get started making your own soap from scratch. I also have a shop where I offer bars of soap from my different recipes for sale, so I'll put a link below to that if you're interested. And then I also wanted to mention that I have a brand new ebook. This is the first time that I've talked about this ebook. I just released it. It's a DIY personal care recipes ebook, and it goes over how to make your own toothpaste, deodorant, sunscreen. It's a free ebook, and I'm going to put a link below where you can grab that. If you do end up making your own soap, take pictures of it and tag me on Instagram, and I will share them. I'd love to see what kind of soap that you end up making. Alright, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, share it with anybody else who you think might find it interesting and fun. Leave me a comment below letting me know if you have any questions, if you try making it and how yours turned out, if you have ideas for other video topics that you'd like me to talk about. If you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. I make new videos every week on traditional health wisdom and living a sustainable DIY lifestyle. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time. Bye.